It can be challenging to design small kitchens in a way that maximizes both functionality and storage while maintaining an aesthetically pleasing appearance. Which is why today we're going to explore the best ideas and inspirations to make the most of compact kitchen areas. From layout hacks to clever storage solutions, here's everything you need to know to maximize the functionality and style of your small kitchen. If you're designing a small kitchen, you need to prioritize an efficient layout. It is always best to try to work with the structures you have, as it is expensive to change pipes and wires. But if you do end up changing the layout, look into how you can maximize natural light, such as knocking down a wall or adding in more windows. There's quite a few layouts that you can choose from, but the most popular for small kitchens are single wall, galley, island kitchens, and L-shaped layouts. The single-wall kitchen, also known as the straight or one-wall kitchen, is when everything is put along one wall, including your appliances, cabinets, and countertops. They're mostly seen in very small apartments and studios, when there's an open-plan living area, as they have a very streamlined and unobtrusive appearance. The main downside of this layout is that there's often limited countertop space, and it can be difficult to implement an efficient work triangle. A galley kitchen has two parallel walls of cabinets and countertops with a walkway in between. It is a classic layout that is very functional and is perfect for long or narrow rooms. What is best about this layout is that they have highly functional work triangles, as the sink, stove, and fridge are so close to each other. They also tend to have more storage than other kitchen layouts because of the parallel walls. But you have to make sure these kitchens have proper ventilation, as cooking odors can linger in narrow spaces. You also have to ensure that there is adequate lighting, as its layout can sometimes feel cramped. In an open concept layout, an island kitchen is a great idea, as it will serve as a focal point and define the kitchen area while still maintaining an open feel. They're also quite multifunctional, as an island can be used as a prep area, dining table, or homework station, which is perfect when you're short on space. However, if you do want an island, you really have to take into account space constraints. You need a minimum of 1 meter around the island so that there is enough room to move around. If you don't have enough space for that but really need extra working space, it may be a better idea to get a small workbench or a portable option like a trolley workbench and place a butcher block on top of it, or even get a butcher trolley. L-shaped kitchens are usually seen in medium to large spaces, but this layout can also be used in small spaces. The L shape always makes good use of corners and can be fitted with specialized cabinets like Lazy Susans to maximize storage. It also supports an efficient work triangle and can accommodate multiple people working in the kitchen at once without getting in each other's way. The biggest downside is that countertop space can be limited when an L-shaped kitchen is scaled down for a small space. Every inch counts in a small kitchen, and keeping the space clean and tidy can make a huge difference to how functional and enjoyable the space is. That is why I'm excited to share today's sponsor, Narwhal, with their latest Frio X Ultra robot and mop vacuum and the S20 Pro vacuum mop. I've had plenty of robot vacuums before, but the Frio X Ultra is really a huge upgrade with its zero tangling floating brush, which is perfect for dealing with long hair or pet fur. You can see from my test here how one of my older vacuums got tangled, while the Narwhal is almost free of tangling. It's really impressive how they managed to design this, and is also certified by both SGS and TÜV. The suction power is second to none. All your regular dirt will get cleaned up in no time, and I even tried using whole coffee beans, which the robot also handles like a champ. Another one of my favorite features is the AI Dirt Sense, which is enabled when you use the Frio mode. It uses sensors to detect harder to clean stains or dirty areas, adjust the mopping and vacuuming to match, and it will keep going back there until it is deemed clean. It really automates the job for you and leaves you with a spotless clean floor. Have I mentioned the base station? Not only does it look sleek, it also washes the dirty mop pads, heats and dries the pads, dispenses the detergent, and many more. It literally does everything for you, so all you have to do is take out the dust bag every 2 months and throw out the dirty water. The S20 Pro, on the other hand, is an even more powerful solution, designed for the heavy messes. It handles all types of wet and dry mess, and does it all in one go, which saves a huge amount of time and frustration. You can see how much is captured in this dirty water tank. It is also equipped with AI Dirt Sense, where it will adjust the power on its own based on what it detects, so you don't have to constantly adjust the power. I also like the flat cleaning feature, as it can easily go under a couch or bed and automatically adjust the suction power. And of course, It is also equipped with a tangle-free brush, so no more dealing with annoying hairs. Plus, it also cleans all the way to edges and corners up to 0.04 inches. If there's one thing you should get for your home this Black Friday, it is the Narwhal Freo X Ultra and the S20 Pro. Or get both, because they're having the biggest sale of the year. I've linked everything down in the description plus a coupon code for extra discount. Thanks to Narwhal for sponsoring today's video. When it comes to designing a small kitchen, or really a kitchen of any size, it is always better to have base cabinet drawers instead of cabinet doors. With cabinets, you tend to just have a big open space, but with drawers, you can easily access the things you store at the back. You also don't have the space to stand back and access deep lower cabinets in smaller kitchens. The only exception here is under your kitchen sink, where a cupboard is by far the better choice because of all the plumbing. If possible, try to get quite a few different drawer heights so you can store bulkier items like all your pots and small appliances. Drawer systems like the Bloom's Tandem Box are great as they offer full extension and soft close features, making it easy to access everything in your kitchen. Also consider getting toe kick drawers to maximize your storage space. They don't have much depth, but you can store thin products that you don't use too often like baking trays and cooling racks. The good news with smaller space is that there's less to fill, so if you have the budget for it, consider going for custom cabinetry. Having said that, if you have a relatively straight wall with no awkward nooks or corners, then a quality flat pack can do the job as well. If you're planning to renovate or design your kitchen, check out our kitchen handbook for an in-depth guide to planning and designing your kitchen. We covered things like the process and renovation timelines, appliances, materials, lighting placements, as well as standard dimensions and measurements all over the kitchen. You have to put a lot of thought into traffic flow for small kitchens as there's such a limited footprint. Firstly, consider where you're putting your appliances. People are usually situated where an appliance is, so it's important to avoid placing all your appliances in the same area to prevent major flow issues. Think about how your kitchen work triangle is going to be set out. If you haven't heard of this before, placing your sink, stove, and fridge in a triangular layout optimizes kitchen efficiency and functionality as it minimizes unnecessary movement. Each part should ideally be between 1.2 to 2.7 meters apart, so they're not too close or too far away, and the sum of all three legs should be between 4 and 8 meters. Having said that, the kitchen triangle should be used only as a guide, not a be-all and end-all approach, with the idea behind it being flow and efficiency. You also need to make sure you're not placing any of these components in inconvenient spots. You may have a well-spaced out kitchen work triangle, but if the stove or sink are placed at the end right next to a wall, it is not going to work out. Try to avoid this as it is uncomfortable to work in very tight spaces. If there isn't any other ways to lay out your kitchen, perhaps because you really need extra counter space, take into consideration whether you're right or left-handed. If you're right-handed, the stove should go in the left corner. And if you're left-handed, the stove should go in the right corner. You also have to be mindful of your dishwasher placement. It is best to place them near the sink so you can easily rinse dishes. You also want to put your kitchen bin near the sink so you can easily scrape food scraps before rinsing your plates and loading them into the dishwasher. As for cabinetry, remember to have your upper cabinet door split in half, otherwise they'll be too wide and will impede traffic flow when opened. Getting your lighting right is crucial for a small kitchen, as will not only make the cooking experience better, but can also make the small space feel larger. When it comes to artificial lighting, you need a mix of ambient, task, and accent lighting. Using recessed ceiling light is perfect for general lighting. You only need 2 or 3 of them in a really small kitchen, but be mindful of their placement if you're using them as task lighting. Under cabinet lights are a popular option for task lighting. They're great for illuminating your countertops as upper cabinets can cast very harsh shadows onto your workspace and make it hard to see at nighttime. Another way to incorporate task lighting is to install a wall sconce with a directional shade over a sink or food preparation area. If you have an island kitchen or even a galley kitchen, you may choose to install a pendant light as accent lighting. They make a great focal point above an island and add lots of visual interest as there are plenty of sculptural fittings on the market. Just make sure they're not hung too low. You don't want people hitting their heads on them, especially if they're over an eating area. That's why it should typically be at least 36 to 42 inches between the bottom of the light to your countertop. As much as artificial lighting is important, maximizing any available natural light you have is arguably even more important. Consider installing a skylight or full-length windows. If that is not possible, clean up your existing windows so more natural light streams in. Glossy finishes and mirrored backsplashes can also help, but that comes down to your preferred aesthetic. Clutter always makes a small space feel smaller than it is, and countertop appliances are often the culprit in kitchens. That is why you should try to be frugal with your appliances. Go through everything you own and pick out only the essentials or non-negotiables. Then try and find a place in a cupboard or drawer so the rest can be hidden away. You really should only have things that you use every single day on your counters. Alternatively, try to coordinate your small appliances so they look cohesive instead of a bunch of random shapes and colors. I'd also suggest that you look for smaller size appliances. Do you really need a full-size fridge? If there's only one or two of you, maybe choose a slimmer fridge instead. Majority of small spaces are located in the city with convenient access to grocery stores, so you likely won't need as big of a fridge as a family of 4 who lives in suburban areas. Same goes with other appliances like dishwashers. Could you get maybe a half-size dishwasher? There are single drawer dishwashers available which are handy in small spaces. Not all kitchens need to look or feel bigger, but if you want them to, here's a few tips. Light paint colors can make a space look bigger, but again, don't feel like you have to stick to a lighter palette. There's nothing wrong with a bold or darker kitchen if that is what you prefer, but in general, whites, ivories, creams, light grays, and soft pastels work best. You may even want to investigate the LRV of your chosen paint color. This stands for light reflective value, and it measures how much visible and usable light is reflected from a painted surface. The higher the number, the more light that is reflected. You can generally find this value on the manufacturer's website. Same goes with backsplashes. Lighter colors can make a kitchen appear larger. I'd also suggest painting your cupboards the same color as the walls so they blend together and create a sense of calm. Same goes with timber panels. Make sure the bottom and upper cabinet are in the same material. Alternatively, you can play with optical illusions by playing with tones, that is darker tone for the base cabinet and lighter tone for the upper cabinets. This will add a sense of height. I'll also consider shiny and reflective materials and finishes as they can help reflect light further. For example, mirrored backsplashes are a popular option and are particularly great if they're opposite a window or a view, as they'll create the illusion of a space that extends further than the constraints of your space. If you do go down this route, make sure it is a specialized heat-resistant mirror made for backsplashes. There are many options when it comes to cabinet handles and knobs, but I'll also explore going handleless for small kitchens. You can either get a push-open cupboards or a true handleless, which is my preferred option as there are less moving parts. A J-type handle is also popular. For example, IKEA has the Vauxtorp line, which I think is quite sleek in an oak finish. I'd also suggest opting for flat fronts rather than shaker-style paneling. They're more minimalist and are easier to clean. Take your cupboards right up to the ceiling rather than stopping short and leaving a huge gap, as will only end up gathering dust or getting filled with random stuff that will only add to the feeling of there not being enough space to store everything. If you want to incorporate open shelving, look into bracketless shelving. They significantly reduce visual clutter and can be made to size. They typically attach to wall studs and fit beneath drywall, so they have to go in during construction. Shelfology has a great range that you can look into. Wall-mounted faucets can be great in small kitchens as they allow for a slightly bigger sink, which may be valuable in a small space. But be mindful of the height and depth. If a wall-mounted faucet is too high, water will splash everywhere, and if it is too low, you won't be able to get your large pots underneath it. Unfortunately, these faucets cost more to install and maintenance can be more tricky if a problem does arise, so that is a trade-off to consider. Small kitchens can be challenging, but with the right mindset and a bit of creativity, it's entirely possible to transform these compact spaces. If you enjoyed this video, check out this video where I talked about the 8 most common kitchen design regrets to steer clear of, and this video on designing a low-maintenance kitchen. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.